I was woken early this morning. Something terribly wrong had happened. I was rushed to the head office of the Admiralty in Tokyo Bay. Reports were coming in from every station across what is known as Indochina. The invasion fleet off Tonkin, a small force led by the battlecruisers Katsuragi, Kamui, and Okuhotaka, was ambushed. They snuck up under the cover of darkness and revealed themselves at daylight. The Chinese Communist fleet overwhelmed them. The entire escort force was lost. Numbered here are the casualties. The light cruisers Izumi, Ioshima, Kashi, Kashima, Agano, Chikuma, Itsukushima, Hashidate, all of whom were veterans of other battles. The destroyers Numikaze, Natsushio, Oyashio, Momi, and Miyuki were also lost. The battlecruisers escaped, but that's probably about the only good news I have. Although the most recent battles proved to be more... Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at a wrong battle sheet. There's so many reports going around, I can't keep track. No, it seems I was. It's strange to think that we could lose so many ships at once. I'm still trying to process it, quite frankly, which is why I'm speechless. Then, after the morning briefings were done, I ordered all ships that I could to the area. Using my influence as the Emperor's personal naval attaché, I gave an order. The invasion fleet is to remain in the area. Survivors would be picked up by every ship we have. Call the Americans, call the British. Thankfully, those letters had already been sent out. Alexander and James already sent quick telegrams over to the British occupation zone in China. Hong Kong dispatched as many ships as they could from the British East China fleet, and we're very thankful they saved what survivors there were left. Billy has been trying to do what he can. He's gotten us resupplies from the American stations in Indochina, which are being temporarily occupied as part of the East Asia plan that we've set up between the three countries. That's not important. Nothing is more important than what's going on right now. I can't even remember where I was. I was sitting in bed, sleeping, when my wife woke me, telling me that there were naval men at the door, that they were frantic, panicking. It was unlike them. And, well, there was only one conclusion. Something had gone wrong. Reports, at least from the survivors, show a distinct lack of need. A need for better ways to handle destroyers. I had been thinking of an idea for some months. A heavy cruiser with the thickest hull possible, thickest armor, given quick-firing guns, as to, per se, plow through destroyer formations, as well as longer secondary guns. Although I'm not sure what difference it'll make now. It's difficult to say how much this hurts the war effort. The Chinese Communists are celebrating it as a victory. And maybe it is. But the math doesn't lie. 2 Chinese capital ships of battlecruiser or larger size went down, along with a few heavy cruisers. We're not out of the fight yet. Japan is still very much in lead of the war, and the communists tried making peace offers, although they quickly retracted them after the news of the battle. They believe they can win. They're wrong. The army, cooperating with the National Army of China under a very promising young general by the name of Chiang Kai-shek, I believe it was, successfully routed a militia force and actually the standing army. Well, we later learned it was the standing army of the Chinese Communist forces in parts of Manchuria and going into what is known as Inner Mongolia. It's a huge victory, and news has been passed along to the relevant people, but army matters are none of my concern. What is my concern is that there's a Chinese fleet in the Yellow Sea that cannot be allowed to continue. So, using emergency powers, I demanded that the fleet handle it. I didn't care what it took. I didn't care if we had to drag the British into the war, as long as those ships never posed a threat to Beijing. If they get Beijing, all hope of uniting China under a non-communist government, though not a monarchy, we agreed with the British that it would be set up as a republic, along with one Dr. Sun Yat-sen, who has been instrumental in getting us the popular support of the people of China. We're playing a very risky game, and I can't have it going wrong, at least on the naval side. The politics side is none of my concern. I don't care. What I care about is results, and right now, the results aren't happening. Destroyers of inferior sizes are wreaking havoc on our lines simply because they carry more torpedoes. They're not as well built. They're nothing more than sheet metal riveted together in some podunk shipyard in the middle of Indonesia, given as many torpedo tubes as they can fit on the thing, and they're just throwing it into combat, and somehow it's sinking our ships. I shouldn't be angry. It's unprofessional, and it's not me. And I can hear my wife from the other room asking why I broke this glass I was holding. No, I'm all right, dear. I'll clean the wound later. It's frustrating to see the work of so many be destroyed by nothing more than a glorified torpedo boat. I think it's time I spoke to the heads of the Navy. I'll call an emergency conference tomorrow. Beg them, plead with them, or if I have to, use any emergency powers I can to tell them one thing. We need victory. Part of me wants to shed my design role and head out to sea myself. Perhaps I'll do that. I have reports that there might be something coming up. A way I could sneak my way onto a large battleship where I could watch the battle, observe, and even command, should the need arise. A captain has taken ill, and his replacement is, quite frankly, still recovering in hospital from his injuries. As, well, there was quite a big smack to a few of our battleships and battlecruisers over the past few months. One particular battle that took interest was the battle off Port Arthur. A promising young captain of the light cruiser Nitaka has caught the interest of just about everyone in high command, including myself. His ship, by our calculations and different mathematical formulas that I have cooked up with my foreign friends, scored not just one overall category from the battle as after action report, Not 2, but 3. The only ship that we know that outdid it in any stretch of the imagination, as far as our 4 victory conditions, that being damage, accuracy, well, accuracy of the main guns, the secondary guns, and the torpedoes. Nitaka led the accuracy. Yamashiro, a battleship no less, only managed to lead in damage. Perhaps this captain can see something that we can do to improve our ships. I'll send for him immediately. I don't know his name off the top of my head. What did you say, dear? I'm sorry, repeat that slower. Oh, that is interesting. Wait, you mean he's his son? I see. Perhaps this whole situation just got more interesting. As I write here in my journal, my wife just informed me that, well, it is more interesting than I originally thought. That young captain is apparently a distant cousin to her family. And when I mean distant, I mean very distant, about 5 generations, but it's close enough for her to know offhand. Captain Yoshi Kasanago. I'm surprised by the last name, but perhaps there is something here. I'll try to send for him immediately, as well as any of the other captains that might have any expertise that we can use to win.